He is immanent and formless. He is pure being and pure consciousness. Manifestation appears in him and through his power, but he is not its creator. God never acts. He just is. He has neither will nor desire. Individuality is the illusion that we are not identical with God. When the illusion is dispelled, what remains is God. Know yourself before you seek to decide about the nature of God in the world. God is within you. The nature of God. Then, what stands in the way of my knowing myself or God? Your wandering mind and perverted ways. Is God personal? Yes, he is always the first person, the I ever standing before you. Because you give precedence to worldly things, God appears to have receded to the background. If you give up all else and seek him alone, he alone will remain as the I, the self. Is God apart from the self? The self is God. I am is God. This question arises because you are holding on to the ego self. God, who seems to be non-existent, alone truly exists, whereas the individual, who seems to be existing, is ever non-existent. Sages say that the state in which one thus knows one's own non-existence alone is the glorious supreme knowledge. You now think that you are an individual, that there is the universe, and that God is beyond the cosmos. So there is the idea of separateness. This idea must go, for God is not separate from you or the cosmos. The Gita also says, "The self am I, O Lord of sleep, in every creature's heart enshrined. The rise and noon of every form, I am its final doom as well." Thus God is not only in the heart of all, he is the prop of all. He is the source of all, their abiding place and their end. All proceed from him, have their stay in him, and finally resolve into him. Therefore, he is not separate. The absolute being is what is. It is the self. It is God. Knowing the self, God is known. In fact, God is none other than the self. Of all the known names of God, the name of God, I alone, will resound triumphantly when the ego is destroyed, rising as the silent supreme word in the heart space of those whose attention is selfward facing. Even if one unceasingly meditates upon that name I, with one's attention on the feeling I, it will take one and plunge one into the source from which thought rises, destroying the ego, the embryo, which is joined to the body. All actions are done by the Lord without any volition or desire on his part. The order of the great multitude of worlds is maintained by the mere presence of God in the same manner as the needle moves in front of a magnet. And as the moonstone emits water, the water lily blossoms, and the lotus closes in front of the moon. In the mere presence of God, who does not have even the least volition, the living beings, who are engaged in innumerable activities, after embarking upon many paths to which they are drawn according to the course determined by their own karmas, finally realize the futility of action, turn back to self, and attain liberation. Why is samsara, creation and manifestation as finitized, so full of sorrow and evil? God's will. Why does God will it so? It is inscrutable. No motive can be attributed to that power. No desire, no end to achieve can be asserted of that one infinite, all-wise, and all-powerful being. God is untouched by activities which take place in His presence. Compare the sun and the world activities. There is no meaning in attributing responsibility and motive to the one before it becomes many. Does everything happen by the will of God? It is not possible for anyone to do anything opposed to the ordinance of God, who has the ability to do everything. Therefore, to remain silent at the feet of God, having given up all the anxieties of the wicked, defective, and delusive mind, is best. God assumes any form imagined by the devotee through repeated thinking and prolonged meditation. Though He thus assumes endless names, the real formless consciousness alone is God. With regard to His location, God does not reside in any place other than the heart. It is due to illusion caused by the ego, the I am, the body idea, that the kingdom of God is conceived to be elsewhere. Be sure that the heart is the kingdom of God. Know that you are the perfect shining light, which not only makes the existence of God's kingdom possible, but also allows it to be seen as some wonderful heaven. Therefore, the kingdom of God is within you. Worship God with or without form till you know who you are. Faith is in things unknown, but the self is self-evident. Even the greatest egotist cannot deny his own existence. That is to say, cannot deny the self. You can call the ultimate reality by whatever name you like and say that you have faith in it or love for it. But who is there who will not have faith in his own existence or love for himself? That is because faith and love are our real nature.